from the ReliefFactor.com studios, here's Mike Gallagher.
I hate telling you I told you so. Hearing somebody on radio or TV bragging makes me cringe. I always hate hearing people who are full of themselves. I hate it. I really do. There was one guy who did it masterfully because he did it with his tongue in his cheek, and that was the late Rush Limbaugh. Nobody else can do it. Hearing other people brag about all their achievements and all their accomplishments and how smart they are. Listen, when somebody tells you how smart they are, they're not that smart. When somebody has to keep telling you how important they are and how prominent they are, they're not. They're overcompensating. So I don't want to be the guy to say I told you so, but there's been one guy who's been saying over and over again, Governor Ron DeSantis needs to bow out and throw his support behind Donald Trump. I had friends who scoffed at that. My dear friend Mark Davis called it the stupidest thing he ever heard. I just told him that a few weeks ago. Oh, we got to let the voters decide. We got to let the process play out. I've said it over and over and over again. And yesterday, Governor DeSantis made it a reality. It's over. It's over for Nikki Haley. She's wasting her time. She's spinning her wheels. And incidentally, what an interesting campaign strategy for Governor Haley. Let me lay out Nikki Haley for you for just a moment in 3 points, 3 talking points. Number one, she apparently doesn't like seniors very much because she's making the fact that Donald Trump is nearing 80 a huge campaign talking point. So she doesn't have a lot of regard for competent, sharp senior citizens being able to have an important position like the presidency. Number two, she must think that the South is a deeply racist place to live because she never seems to miss an opportunity to remind us that she was discriminated against for being a little girl of color every day of her life. Every day of her life. On the one hand, she says we're not a racist nation. On the other hand, she said every day growing up in the deep South, she was reminded that she was a little brown girl. She got kicked out of a beauty pageant because she wasn't white or black. She was brown. So she's been a terrible victim of racism in the deep South. But we're not a racist nation. Hey, which is it, ma'am? Pick a lane, please. Because the country you describe is pretty awful. And finally, and most importantly, she clearly doesn't understand how crucial it is that the American people prevent the left's diabolical effort to keep us from having the right to vote and prosecuting Donald Trump in order to keep him off the ballot, in order to keep him out of the White House. There's one reason for these prosecutions of Donald Trump, and only one reason. They're not valid. They're not with merit. They're to stop him from being in the White House. Joe Biden has weaponized the Justice Department because he's desperately trying to stop his political opponent. It is everything to Iowa voters. It is everything to New Hampshire voters. It is everything to voters in all 50 states. It is outrageous the way Trump has been victimized by the weaponization of his political opponent. And to Nikki Haley, it's not that big a deal. To Nikki Haley, it doesn't matter. She literally told our own Hugh Hewitt this morning that right or wrong, Trump will be distracted by these prosecutions. Listen to this exchange on Hugh's show earlier today here on the Salem Radio Network.
Ambassador Haley, I want to talk about the indictments, the invasion, and the incompetence. Dan Balls in the Washington Post wrote yesterday, quote, the indictments consolidated Trump's support rather than fracturing it. This was the biggest of the game changers. Do you agree with that the indictments in Manhattan, Georgia, and the 2 sets of indictments by Jack Smith turned the momentum towards the former president?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, because I think you look at the fact that he wasn't doing as strongly as he would have been otherwise until all of a sudden we saw these these, court cases come against him. And some have been very political, some not. He's going to have to defend himself. But think about this, Hugh. Right now, the day before the election, he's in court. And you look at all the days he's going to be in court, rightly or wrongly, whether he should be there, it doesn't matter. The fact that he's going to be in court, instead of being able to focus on what to do to get our country going forward, that's what this is about. Look, this is not personal for me.
See, she said it all. She said it doesn't matter that Trump has been politically persecuted, and she doesn't get it. To the American people, it most certainly does matter. It is everything. And it's why Trump is going to be the nominee, and he's likely going to be reelected in November of this year. Now, let's get your reaction to all of it. 1-800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Welcome aboard. We got people lined up, lots of text messages pouring in. And really, I'm not, it's time to take the gloves off. I've danced around this for a while now. I've said, hey, I'm going to support whoever the nominee is, and I will. The nominee is going to be Donald Trump. She has no path. The airtime that she's getting right now is wasted time. The money she's spending is wasted money. Her campaigning is a waste of time. It's over. It's absolutely over. And the sooner we unite behind Donald Trump, the better off we're going to be in trying to defeat the Democrats in November. And that's what's at stake right now. We got to get our country back. And the only way we're going to get it back is to get Donald Trump back in the White House.